What's up, football fans? If you told me at the start of this season that 44-year-old Philip Rivers would be suiting up for the Indianapolis Colts in a crucial playoff race, I would have said you were absolutely crazy. But here we are, and this story is way more interesting than people realize. Rivers hasn't played in the NFL since 2020. That's 5 years away from the game. But one Colts star is revealing why everyone's missing the real story here, and honestly, it might change how you look at this whole situation. Let's dive in. All right, so let's set the stage here. The Colts are in a tight race for the playoffs. They're sitting at the number 8 seed in the AFC, and only 7 teams make it from each conference. They're one game behind Jacksonville in the AFC South after losing to the Jaguars in Week 14. Then disaster strikes. Starting quarterback Daniel Jones goes down with a season-ending Achilles injury. Brutal. And to make matters worse, rookie Riley Leonard is dealing with a knee issue this week. So the Colts are scrambling, and who do they call? Philip Rivers, who's been out of football since leading this same team to an 11-5 record back in 2020. Now, I know what you're thinking. 44 years old, 5 years out of the league, against the Seattle Seahawks? This sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? But hold on, because Michael Pittman Jr. has something to say about that. Michael Pittman Jr., one of the Colts' top receivers, actually played with Rivers during that 2020 season. It was Pittman's rookie year, and Rivers was his first NFL quarterback. So he knows this guy better than most. And here's what Pittman said after seeing Rivers back in the building this week. "Phil is the same guy. I really don't notice much difference from our 2020 season, and he's fired up. He's ready to go." Think about that for a second. 5 years away from football, and Pittman says he's the same guy. Still has that same fire. That tells you something about Rivers' mentality and preparation. Pittman even mentioned that Rivers said the word stinkin' probably 100 times during his speech to the team, and if you know Philip Rivers, you know that's exactly how he talks. No cursing, just good old-fashioned competitive fire with his trademark phrases like, "Dadgummit!" But here's the part that everyone's missing, and this is huge. Pittman pointed out something that really changes the whole narrative around this comeback. Shane Steichen is the Colts' head coach, right? Well, guess where Steichen's offensive scheme came from? The San Diego Chargers. And guess who spent 6 years as the Chargers' quarterback's coach, working directly with Philip Rivers? Shane Steichen. Pittman put it perfectly. Philip really helped invent this offensive scheme if you go back to Shane's history. This offense was made by Philip Rivers, so that's why he's one of the perfect guys to go out and get. Let that sink in. This isn't just some random veteran coming in to run a foreign system. Rivers literally helped create the offense that Steichen runs in Indianapolis. He knows every concept, every route combination, every protection scheme. His mind is already programmed for this exact system. Now, Rivers was never known for being the most mobile quarterback even in his prime. He joked about that himself during his media session this week. But here's the thing about Philip Rivers. He's always been a cerebral player. His processing speed, his ability to read defenses, his command at the line of scrimmage, that's what made him last 17 seasons and rank 7th all-time in NFL passing yards. And you know what doesn't decline with age? Football IQ. Rivers' mind is still sharp. He still sees the field the same way. And in an offense he helped design? That's a massive advantage. Pittman emphasized this. His mind is so sharp and he's still got that same fire. Here's another thing people forget about Philip Rivers. This guy is a competitor. He's got that old-school, fiery mentality that you don't see as much anymore in the NFL. He wouldn't be coming back if he didn't genuinely believe he could help this team win. Pittman mentioned that Rivers said he wouldn't reset his Hall of Fame if he didn't really care about this. And that's real talk. Rivers is a future Hall of Famer. He doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. But he wants to compete. He wants to help the Colts make a playoff push, so what's at stake here? Everything. The Colts are fighting for their playoff lives. They've got 4 games left, starting with Seattle on Sunday. If they can string together some wins with Rivers at the helm, they could potentially win the AFC South or snag a wildcard spot. Is it likely? Maybe not. But is it possible? With Rivers' knowledge of the system, Pittman's receiving talent, and a defense that's been solid this year, absolutely. One last thing worth mentioning. Pittman and Rivers already have chemistry from 2020. Sure, Pittman's developed a lot since his rookie year. He's become one of the better receivers in the league. But that existing relationship could pay dividends immediately. Pittman did admit he heard Rivers' famous "Dadgummit" a lot during his rookie season, but now he's a completely different player. The combination of a more experienced Pittman with Rivers' veteran savvy could be really interesting to watch. Look, I'm not saying Philip Rivers is going to come in and throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's probably not realistic for a 44-year-old who hasn't played in 5 years. But what I am saying is that this situation is way more intriguing than people give it credit for. The connection with Shane Steichen, the familiarity with the offense, the existing chemistry with Pittman, and that competitive fire that's still burning, these are real factors that could make this work, at least for a few games. Will it be enough to get the Colts into the playoffs? We're about to find out. But one thing's for sure, I'm definitely watching this Sunday, and you should be too. What do you think? Can Rivers pull this off? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more NFL content. I'll catch you in the next one.